All right, we're going to do this live. Welcome, viewers and listeners. I'm your host, Chris Parisi, and welcome to AI Wave, the only podcast that integrates the world of AI with the future of business with a dash of convincing anyone that will listen that Rhode Island is the place to be for the AI revolution. Today's episode is all about Chat GPT, the one AI tool you need to have securely fastened to your seatbelt. We'll start off with a little explanation about Chat GPT, then guide you through how to set up an account with best practices, and finally we'll sit down with Trailblaze's Chat GPT guru, Kyle Steinberg, to learn more about this tool. So who is behind all of this? Well, it's OpenAI, the AI research lab that took the world by storm. They are known for their GPT product, but also behind DALL-E, the image generator, and Whisper, a speech recognition model that can transcribe, identify, and translate multiple languages. But let's focus on GPT, OpenAI's most advanced system called a large language model, LLM. And it's the largest neural networks which power the chatbot, ChatGPT. So let's go over how to sign up and start using it for free. So if you already signed up, then you could just skip the next 10 seconds. And if you haven't, pause after these instructions and do it now. All right, so we're going to walk through how to set up a free account to ChatGPT. So I'm going to do it on a laptop, and let's follow along. So first, we're going to go to chat.openai.com. And once you go to there, you'll see this splash page, very basic, and it's either going to ask you to log in or sign up. So since we don't have an account yet, we're going to click the sign up button. And once we click the sign up button, it's going to ask to create an account. You can do it with connecting with Google or your Microsoft account, but what we're going to do is create a new account using your email. So let's do that. And I'm going to create a password as well. I love cats. Okay. And once you do that, click continue. And now you are in Chat GPT. So it asks to verify your email. So just going to verify my email here. And then that should get us in there. Email verified. All right. Pretty sweet. So now let's refresh. And there we go. Now it's going to ask you some personal information. Don't look at my age and number. Let's not show this to the world. And it's going to ask for a code. So a few steps here because it wants to make sure that an AI is not creating an AI account. So double verification on email and phone. So once you do that, you are in. And as you can see here, it has a little bit about how it's a free research preview and how they collect data, which is very important to make sure that you understand your privacy. So we want to review all that. And once you do, you're in. So as you can see at the bottom here, you can select a prompt, send a message. You can also do it on the top left. So on the left side is where all of your chats will be stored. So we'll go ahead and we'll go and create a prompt as I drop something behind me. We talked about this example before, so we're going to make it pretty simple for you and say you are an SEO and content expert. We are a digital marketing agency, and we are creating blogs around the advancements of AI, which is not a lie. Please provide 3 to 5 topics on how we can help businesses adapt AI to grow and thrive. And we press enter, and now we're having a conversation. So it says, sure, here's 3 to 5 AI-related blog topics. And as you can see, it's going through It's a little bit slower because we're using the free version. You can always upgrade to Plus, and Plus is using a more advanced version of Chat GPT. It's faster. So they gave us 5 topics because they are overachievers. You give it 3 to 5, it's going to give you 5. So as you can see, it creates the chat title in the top left already using AI. And now we have 5 topics. So let's say you'd be like, okay, great. I love topic number 3. Can you please create a blog outline for that? And then boom, what it'll do is understand what we want to do, take that third option, and now it's going to create a blog topic outline for you. And what you can do with this blog outline is take a look at it, tweak it. So let's say I can copy and paste this and move the outline how I want to. And then you can ask it to help fill in each of the sections of the topic. So we'll do one more example. We'll see, all right, great. Be like, great, you rock. Can you please provide a 250 to 300 word intro for the first section? So it's going to understand what I mean, and it's going to go ahead and create that 250 to 300 word introduction. And what you're going to want to do from here is make sure you edit it, right? Search engines are going to be understanding if it's generative content, and we don't want that. Search engines don't want that. Plus, you want to make it authentic. You know, the goal with AI is not to replace us, right? It's to enhance us. So we're going to take this content, we're going to review it, we're going to tweak it, put our own spin on it, make sure it's relevant, context is right, and then we'll keep going down the line with the outline until we have our article. Then edit it again by someone else, another copy editor, and then we'll publish it. We'll go live. And that's just one example of how to use ChatGPT to help grow your business. Now go on and explore ChatGPT. Use it for your business, such as helping you figure out blog topics or how to develop a business plan, or use it personally. I mean, recently what I did is I told it the ingredients I had in my fridge, asked what healthy meals I can make, and it was tasty. I mean, it didn't make the meal. I mean, I did that, but it was really helpful. And I even used it for legal help on how to even turns. So go ahead, play around with it, explore and use it. And don't forget, this is just the basics. There's so much more to discover with ChatGPT. And we'll dive into next in our interview with Trailblaze's lead digital analyst and ChatGPT guru, Kyle Steinberg. All right, welcome. So we are joined today by Kyle Steinberg, one of our resident AI experts here at Trailblaze Marketing. So with Kyle, we're going to dive into the tool we just talked about, the most popular one that took the world by storm, OpenAI's Chat GPT. Kyle, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
You are our first guest on the AI wave.
First ever podcast as well.
Wow. Well, we appreciate you having us. Kyle has done tremendous work here at Trailblaze and diving into all of the AI tools, and it was very fitting to have him on as our first guest. So we're going to dive right into this, Kyle. I have a few questions for you so we can educate our wonderful audience. So first, just tell us a little bit about what you do here at Trailblaze.
Yeah, so I'm the digital media manager here. I handle all of our Google ads, our SEO, Amazon for some of our clients as well, and a lot of our analytics.
All right, great. And in that field, that digital field, I would say the AI revolution impacted you just a little bit, right? So tell us a little bit about how AI has impacted your field.
Yeah, a little bit's one way to put it. We've gone through quite the change, especially with our processes. We've been able to speed up a lot of things, but we've also had to adjust as well. It's something we'll talk about. It's not perfect yet.
It's just begun, but there's definitely been advance. I mean, I know some of our processes, for instance, would take us 60 hours to do, and now we can get it done within around 10 hours, right? So we're kind of 6xing, 6 to 10x our production efficiency, which allows us to do more for our clients. And, if someone is in your field, talking about Chat GPT, I know there's a lot of tools out there. We have our own tools that we use, but we still use Chat GPT. So if someone's in your field, let's say if they are in SEO or if they're blog writing or analytics, what are some ways that they can use Chat GPT?
Well, for me personally, I use it to fill my skill gap. I like to use it to help with that writer's block, especially when you're doing blogging stuff.
Yeah.
You can get really stuck on either certain topics or maybe you just can't flesh it out enough, but that's where, Chat GPT comes in super helpful. It's also really nice at doing large quantities of work. So when we do like our meta descriptions, titles, when you're talking large sites that are hundreds of pages, that's hundreds of hours now cut down to a fraction of that.
Wow. So I would love to dive a little bit more. You just talked about 2 examples. Can you just kind of explain to us how someone would go in and enter the prompts or use ChatGPT to perform some of that? Like, let's say, like you mentioned, blogging, fill one of your skill sets. How would you use it to go ahead and blog?
Yeah, so I think the first step, ChatGPT especially is only as good as you make it. So everything is built on prompting and giving it very specific instructions, but also making sure that you call it an expert in blog writing and content writing is probably the first step you have to do, just so it triggers the chat into that proper mindset to think like a marketer, like an SEO expert. So that way, when it writes the content, it's writing it very specific for SEO purposes instead of just spatting out a blog.
Okay, so you mean that if you're creating a prompt, you say, all right, you are a SEO expert, and then you're providing the context. Is that right?
Yeah, so you're providing a little bit more context. You're giving it more information to work with instead of just, hey, write me a blog about X topic. You say you're a content SEO specialist. It'll register that, and then you'll add more detail into whatever your blog is about. You'll give it maybe some sources. You can do that with your prompts, or you can give it a little bit more direction and tones. All these things you can't control that you need to do with your prompting.
Awesome. Wonderful. And when we go ahead and do a blog, I'm assuming we're not just saying, hey, ChatGPT, write us a blog about this. We may even start using it, just say, hey, give us some idea for some topics based on specific keywords. Is that right?
Absolutely. You can go by keywords. You can go by, say, like a content pillar piece. You want to start with something very broad and kind of work your way down and through the funnel of that thought process. You give it that, say you want to talk about how marketing as a whole is currently going. Well, as you break through those subtopics, you can give it more information. Hey, how is it specific for SEO? How is it specific for ads, content creation, all this other stuff? And the more information you give it, the better the blogs will become.
All right. I want you all to go out there and try ChatGPT for some blogging. You mentioned SEO before. And so those are 2 great examples, Kyle. I appreciate it. Our next question is, what are you most excited about when it comes to the advancements of AI?
I think that simply is just the advancement, especially when it comes to SEO. Everything is very character specific. That's something that the current models can't handle. They don't understand that we have certain limitations on character counts and things like that. So having that more refined to where we can just say, giving it the page title or some content, and it properly formats the right length and the proper sounds for everything. It's also very new because it's all being fed by us, the users. That's what's making this so much better. So the more we give it, the more it has, and then the quicker they can alter their models around.
Wonderful. Okay. And we spoke about advancement with AI. In some areas, it's not quite well enough yet, you would say. What areas should we kind of caution when it comes to, AI is not quite there yet?
So I would say the major thing is when you're doing your especially from our perspective, a page copy, and again, going back to the meta titles and descriptions, something that Google has currently said and has always stood behind is that they will penalize you for generative content. So just going straight in and saying, write me a blog, and then posting that is not good enough. You will get penalized by Google severely for that. So you still have to use it as more of an ideation and fill in the gap, not as your end-all be-all solutions.
That's a great point. It's what we call human endpoints here at Trailblaze, right? We are AI powered, but we're human elevated. So as Kyle said, you have to give it great prompts. So it starts with you, and then we'll let AI do a lot of the work in between. But then at the end, we have to make sure that we edit it, tweak it, make sure it has the right context, and make sure it's unique as well, because as Kyle just alluded to, the search engines are going to penalize you. I mean, I believe Google just came out or announced what one of their new versions of their search engine. Is that right?
It comes out tomorrow, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the announcement of the new engine,
this podcast
Maggie.
is recording on. We're gonna do this one more time. So we're gonna cut. Actually, Kyle, I believe Google's coming out with their new search engine. I think by the time this podcast airs, it might already be live.
Yep. It's called Maggie it's its code name at the moment.
Okay.
We're expecting that. And then they're also going to be announcing a little bit more stuff about Google Bard and its integration into Google Search to match Chat GPT and Bing.
Sounds like we may need another episode just focused in on that. So that's really exciting. New advancements are happening every day in the world of AI. So I appreciate your time. I do have one question for you, though, and I know you're a big fan of video games. You and the Trailblazers talk about that. So I just had an interesting question is, how do you envision AI impacting the gaming industry?
I think what we're going to see is a historic rise of indie studios. And by indie studios, I mean a group no bigger than, say, me or you. Now that a lot of coding can be done by ChatGPT, just having up that coding and being able to turn around some little micro games rather quickly. But even for the big guys, updates should be a lot more prevalent now. A lot of code fixing, handwriting, it's all been streamlined now.
It's a great point. It's what I hear about Hollywood as well, is that there's going to be a rise of indie film studios as well. Well, now they can compete with the big studios because the AI is leveling the playing field, which is really interesting and kind of cool, right? So do you have any other closing thoughts, anything that you want to share with the world when it comes to AI, especially in your field?
Learn prompts. Prompt engineering is the gateway to making sure ChatGPT does everything you need it to in the right way as well.
And it's a great advancement for your career as well.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Kyle, so much. We appreciate you joining the AI Wave.
Thanks for having me.
So to recap, ChatGPT is an AI language model that can generate text-based responses to user prompts. OpenAI is the research lab behind ChatGPT, which is one of the largest neural networks and most advanced systems called a large language model. To sign up for ChatGPT, go to chat.openai.com and create a free account. And writing effective prompts is key. Remember that. Some tips for writing effective prompts is be specific, provide the context, use open-ended questions, avoid bias, and be clear and concise. ChatGPT can be used for both personal and business purposes, such as developing blog topics, legal help, nutrition plans, job descriptions, you name it. So thank you for joining us for another episode of AI Wave. And don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on the latest AI Wave content. I'm Chris Parisi, and I'm here to say, come ride the AI Wave. See you next time.